Grady Newsource reporter Isaiah Joseph talked to Athens Mayor Kelly Gertz, who has big plans for the city regarding clean energy solution.
We've pledged that by 2035, all of our buildings are going to be run from clean energy, and by 2050, every aspect of governmental life, including our vehicle fleet, are going to be on clean energy.
We joined the official dedication ceremony of the new roundabout at Whitehall and South Millage, Athens Clarke County's very first completed T-Splosh project.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening and welcome to Grady Newsource. I'm Ashlyn Webb.
I'm Wellesley Kiesel with weather.
And I'm Julia Sanders with sports.
Locally, we've seen pushes for climate action for years. Just last Friday, Georgia Climate Change Coalition held a strike at the University of Georgia Arch. This was part of the global climate strike that happened on Friday around the world. Grady Newsource reporter Isaiah Joseph spoke to Athens Mayor Kelly Gertz, who has big plans for the city regarding clean energy solution.
Environmental advocacy project.
According to
Georgia, most Athens residents use an above average amount of their income on electricity, with only 15% currently being clean electricity. Athens Clarke County Mayor Kelly Gertz plans to completely change this within the next 15 to 30 years.
So this winter, I signed the Mayor's Pledge for Sierra Club to move Athens to entirely clean energy. That was followed up a couple months later with a resolution that was supported by the entire commission, our legislative body. And that took the pledge a couple steps further and indicated that there were some tangible steps that we were going to take that were going to get us to clean energy.
Athens is now the fourth city in Georgia to officially take a stand in reaching 100% clean energy in the future. These other cities include Atlanta, Augusta, and Clarkston.
We've pledged that by 2035, all of our buildings are going to be run from clean energy, and by 2050, every aspect of governmental life, including our vehicle fleet, are going to be on clean energy.
In a press release, Director of Environment Georgia, Carrie Ritzler, shared her satisfaction with Gertz's actions towards cleaner energy solutions. She said, "Whether it's increasingly severe droughts or extreme storms, the impacts of climate change are not just future threats, they're already here. This bold goal will help ensure that Athens joins cities and states across the country in the fight for a cleaner and safer environment for generations to come." Gertz shared with me that this initiative can be funded through Splosh if Athens voters vote yes during these upcoming November elections.
And this $15 million package would get us the majority of the way there to getting 100% clean energy use by your local government.
Isaiah Joseph, Grady Newsource.
100% Athens and Athens for Everyone are continuing to work to ensure that clean energy initiatives continue to progress. They're leaning on local Athens community members to make change. And leaders from nearly 200 countries are talking climate change today at the United Nations Summit. The UN and world leaders are facing increasing pressure to cut global greenhouse emissions and slow global warming. This summit will begin international climate negotiations in 2020, the next deadline for countries to make additional emission reduction promises under the 2015 Paris Agreement. And now to a developing story. One of the nation's most restrictive abortion laws has its first day in court today. A federal judge heard arguments from the American Civil Liberties Union of Georgia about why this bill should not go into effect. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp signed the heartbeat bill, which bans abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy. The court said today that it would take today's arguments into consideration and will make a decision before the end of the year. As of now, the law is scheduled to go into effect in January. And if you've been at the intersection of South Millage and Whitehall Road lately, you've probably noticed a new addition to the roads. Today, officials cut the ribbon on a new roundabout. This is the first of many Athens Clarke County T-Splosh projects to be finished. Bailey Walker is live at the completed intersection. Bailey?
That's right, Ashlyn. I'm standing outside the roundabout that was dedicated today. It's supposed to ease traffic and make the intersection safer. The roundabout has already been fully operational, and construction company just has a couple finishing touches to install. This project is the very first of 19 to be completed since the 5-year-long T-Splosh tax was approved in a special election in 2017. These projects are intended to improve public transportation and infrastructure in the community, but it bumped Athens-Clarke County sales tax from 7% to 8%. I talked to Randy Katrib, engineering administrator for Athens-Clarke County, about how it's also better for the environment.
With a traffic light or always stop, there is increased emissions coming out of vehicles stopping at a stop bar and starting after a light goes green.
And with a roundabout, the traffic stays moving.
Wow, so how much is this project costing taxpayers? So how much is this?
So this budget was actually under. This was actually under budget, and as of last week, it costed about $1.5 million. And so that's part of the total $92 million that's currently in the T-SPLOST budget right now.
And what other projects are these T-SPLOST funds going towards?
So some of the other things that are going on in Athens-Clarke County right now are a walkway, improvements to the Athens-Ben Epps Airport, some new public transportation projects on bus stops, and new bike lanes.
Yeah, so roundabouts can be a little hard to navigate. Do you have any tips for people using these intersections?
Yeah, so the Georgia Department of Transportation recommends slowing down as you're approaching roundabouts and stopping for pedestrians. Yield to traffic already in the roundabout and enter when there's enough space. Once you're already in the roundabout, don't stop because you don't have the right of way, and use your turn signal to exit. If you need a refresher on driver's ed, you can check out the Georgia Department of Transportation website. Back to you, Ashlyn.
Thanks, Bailey. Coming up next, 2 local sheriff's offices are asking for your help to find 2 missing men. And also hear why there's such a slow switch between summer and fall this year. We'll have details after the commercial break.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Barrow County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help to find a man who's been missing since September 16th. Andrew House was reported missing on September 18th by his father. House is 25 years old and is described as being 5 foot and 8 inches tall with brown hair and blue eyes. He was last seen near a gas station at the intersection of Highway 82 and Highway 211 on September 16th. He was wearing a black Atlanta Falcons t-shirt, a black hat, blue jeans, and boots, according to the Sheriff's Office press release. If you have information about House's whereabouts, contact the Barrow County Sheriff's Office. And in Athens, the police are asking for your help to locate Randy Lee Snyder, a white male with brown hair and blue eyes. He was last seen around the Mitchell Bridge Road area. ACCPD asked that you contact Detective John Q. Williams at 706-613-3330 with extension 795 if you've seen Snyder. And today is the first day of fall, but let's be honest, it doesn't feel like it. Reporter Peyton Lewis explains why sweater weather may be here a little later than you're expecting.
September 23rd marks the first day of fall, but it may not be everything you were expecting. The leaves are still on their branches, and there's still no chill in the air with this 90-degree heat. First-year student Andy Ellett says she is ready for the seasons to officially change.
I'm really excited for fall. I love fall. I own a lot of sweaters. It's not sweater weather right now, but I'm still in a sweatshirt. So I'm really excited for what's to come.
So why isn't the fall weather here yet? Dr. John Knox from the University of Georgia's Atmospheric Science program says high pressure in the atmosphere is causing less cloud coverage and warmer temperatures. Dr. Knox answers why we're experiencing high pressures and an increase in heat.
And that's when we have to say, welcome to climate change. Again, I can't prove any one day's weather, but the overall, yes, that we're trending warmer, and you know that because you've seen graphics of global temperature. It's true here too.
Season change can be a little confusing sometimes, especially when it's different than usual. Here I have a small model of the sun and the earth. Say this flashlight is the sun and this stress ball is the earth. The Earth tilts on its axis to rotate around on its orbit and gives us the seasons. When it gets to this point in its rotation, this should give us the autumn equinox, or the beginning of fall.
Dr. Knox says that there will be more late season changes in the future.
The heat will be over, but this may still give us 60s and 70s in December, which is just not really supposed to happen. As I tell people, the HVAC on Earth is broken. And we broke it.
Peyton Lewis, Grady Newsource.
Thanks, Peyton. Well, we'll keep waiting on that crisp autumn air with a pumpkin spice latte in hand. If you see something, say something. That's what Athens Clark County Police Department is saying after a Facebook post led police to solve who stole one of the bulldog statues downtown. Last week, we told you how two well-known statues stationed at the Steak and Shake on West Broad Street and Chastain and Associates Insurance on West Hancock were stolen, leaving many wondering if Athens had a serial bulldog statue thief on the loose. Now, the bulldog statue located on West Hancock has been found as of Friday afternoon, just in time for the historic face-off between the Fighting Irish and the Bulldogs Saturday. So great to hear. According to Athens Clark County detectives, Chastain has decided not to prosecute the people responsible for stealing the statue.
Covering how Rodrigo Blankenship won SEC Weekly Honors in the long-standing Student Spirit Squad that fills the stadium every Saturday. Stay tuned.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Is your family in need of more quality time together?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Nature is best enjoyed together. So bring the whole family to discover all the bonding and stress-reducing benefits parks and forests have to offer. Visit discovertheforest.org and trade in phone time for family time.
Birds, squirrels, chipmunks, grass, worms, bugs, trees, rocks, and other objects in nature cannot talk. If you'd like to have a conversation while visiting nature, you will need to bring humans along. We strongly recommend starting with your family.
La 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 la. I love you so. I love you. I love you. La 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 la. La 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
And now, sports.
Rodrigo Blankenship, UGA's place kicker, was named the Southeastern Conference Special Teams Player of the Week after the Georgia versus Notre Dame game. This is the fourth time that Blankenship has received SEC Weekly honors. He also won the Special Teams Player of the Week recognition after Georgia beat Vanderbilt earlier this year. He has been honored twice, 2016 as well, when the Georgia Bulldogs won last season at South Carolina and at Kentucky. The University of Georgia's Spike Squad is a group of loud cheering students who wear spikes on football pads and paint on their faces every game. The group encouraged everyone to wear all black for Saturday's game. They tweeted about the blackout to their 22.4 thousand followers, and over 1,000 people liked the tweet. Another tweet they tweeted on September 17th said, "Black is the color of funerals," which is what we're going to have for Notre Dame this Saturday at 8 p.m. in Sanford Stadium. Spike Squad member and equipment manager Chaz Phillips said why they wanted a blackout.
Well, we know that Sanford Stadium is a intimidating place to play, and we figured for a game like this, why not take it up another notch and go full on blackout.
Some Georgia fans have hesitations with wearing all black because of the past blackout games. In 2007, Alabama beat Georgia in a blackout game. However, the blackout game against Notre Dame on Saturday ended with a win for Georgia. Phillips says the UGA Spike Squad has plans for future football games with a different color.
South Carolina is also the homecoming game. We're going to do a pink out for that. We're partnering with Bulldogs battling breast cancer, so that's going to be a pink out. We're going to do pink pads, and then that's it for now, and we'll see what else comes.
I'm Wellesley Kiesel, and later today I'll be giving you the rundown on Georgia drought conditions and Tropical Storm Karen. Stay tuned.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Can we get strawberries?
Okay.
And now, the weather.
Happy Monday and happy first day of fall. I'm Wellesley Kiesel here with your Grady Newsource weather for the week. Today we'll be covering local weather, Georgia drought conditions, and the 5-day forecast for the week. So tonight in Athens, it'll be around 88 degrees at 6 p.m., 9 p.m. will be around 75 degrees, and midnight will be a little bit cooler at 72 degrees. This is a map from Georgia drought conditions. As you can see, the yellow represents dry conditions, the tan area is more moderate, and then the orange is more severe. So you can see that the drought conditions are worsening as the weeks go on in Georgia. The 5-day forecast, for your high, you'll see around 91 degrees for your high today. Tuesday will be around 92, Wednesday 89, Thursday 94, Friday 92. So while it is the first day of fall, you're still going to see a rise in these temperatures throughout the week. So for Grady Newsource Weather, I'm Wellesley Kiesel.
Coming back to our top story, the growing calls for action on climate change. We told you about the big plans the mayor of Athens has for us locally. In Illinois, scientists are taking action. Their concern is about the impact on the food supply. CNN's Dr. Sanjay Gupta reports.
I became disillusioned when it was clear that climate change was not a priority here.
Up until the spring of 2019, Louis Ziska was a plant physiologist with the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Do people at the highest levels of leadership within USDA believe climate change is happening?
You'd have to ask them. I only know what I've read in the papers about folks like Sonny Perdue who don't seem to think it's real.
The head of agriculture for the United States may not think climate change is real.
From his own comments, it sounds like he agrees with others within the current administration that this is not evidence-based science.
In the spring of 2019, Ziska resigned because he felt science was now taking a backseat to ideology.
You're entitled to your own opinion. That's great. We're a free country, but you're not entitled to your own facts.
Facts, science, happening at places like this, a patchwork of green in the heartland of the United States, one of the most robust producers of corn and soybeans on the planet. 21 million acres here in Illinois alone.
This is your lab, huh?
Yes, yeah. We're lucky to have it.
It's what drew scientist Andrew Leakey from his home country of Scotland to the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign.
This is why I moved here, actually.
But the climate is changing this most fundamental way of life as well. It's what Louis Ziska has been sounding the alarm about. The carbon in the air is now changing the food coming from the ground.
So we are essentially going into your time machine, as you say.
Absolutely. So you've stepped from 2019 into the mid-century in terms of CO2 concentration.
Within this outlined space, these plants are getting gassed with 25% more carbon dioxide. Why? Well, that's the level scientists project our atmosphere will have in the year 2050.
I just heard the hissing sound.
That hisses, yeah. We're now on the upwind side of the plot, and if you reach out, you can probably feel some of the CO2. Yes, feel some of the CO2 coming out the backside of the plot there.
We humans need oxygen, as you know, but plants, they like carbon dioxide. They use it in a process called photosynthesis. So if you have more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, that should be good for plants, right? Well, sort of. It definitely can help plants grow bigger, but not necessarily better. That carbon gets turned into carbohydrates or sugar. It also makes it so these plants have less of the good stuff, like zinc, iron, and protein. It's turning some of the best foods we humans have into junkier food.
That sounds like a significant problem. If some of the staples of our diet, some of the most commonly grown crops on the face of the earth are changing.
I think those of us in the developed world have the luxury of being able to go take a supplement or adjust what we buy at the supermarket, but there's around 2 billion people in the world who are already zinc and iron deficient, and there's also about 2 billion people who depend on the grains that they eat for their supply of zinc and iron.
It is one of the ways most of the world will first experience the impact of climate change. And no doubt, it's one of the most critical issues of our time. Which is why it was so shocking to learn that the USDA wouldn't even let Ziska talk to us about his study.
We tried to sit down with you earlier this year, as you may know, and then we were told you wouldn't be able to do it.
Right, and that was the first time that it happened. They said, no, we don't want you to talk to CNN.
When we asked why were we denied a chance to speak with Ziska, the agency said they didn't publicize his work because they had concerns about the nutritional claims in the paper. When pressed further about speaking with Ziska directly, the agency said there is no additional or new information to share. Ziska believes it was once again the agency putting ideology before science.
I'm a little worried now listening to you because I feel like, first of all, there's real concerns about what's happening with the climate, and then additional concerns that we're not being proactive about something that we could be proactive about.
Yes.
Should I be as worried as this is all sounding?
I think you should be worried, but I don't think you should give up hope. As I mentioned before, there are good people in these agencies, and they're just looking for an opportunity to put their skills and their abilities to use.
Louis Ziska is now at the Columbia School of Public Health, having again resigned from the USDA. And it's worth pointing out he's just one of a handful of scientists who have been leaving the federal government concerned that their science just isn't getting supported. And just this past week, I'll tell you that the Senate Democrats released a list of 38 times that they believe the Trump administration, quote, suppressed science across the federal government. So it can be really challenging sometimes for these scientists who are working within government to get their messages out there.
And coming up next, how a student organization is cleaning up what's left behind from this weekend's game.
Hi, I'm Peter. And there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends. Come on in! Help yourself to anything. That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit SaveTheFood.com.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Attention travelers, next Tuesday a major power outage will cause complete chaos throughout the city. Food, water, and phone service will be in short supply. There will likely be panic citywide. Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Hi, Ashland. I'm currently standing outside of Tate Student Center, where students from the Clean the Doghouse organization are currently picking up a trash they will be doing this for at least an hour today. University of Georgia encourages students to bag their own trash, to recycle what they can, and to put all food items into one recyclable and reusable container. I'm Jada Bowman, Grady Newsource.
Thanks, Jada, and thank you for tuning in to Grady Newsource. The news doesn't stop here. If you want to check out more news, visit our website, gradynewsource.uga.edu, or our social media platforms. I'm Ashlyn Webb.
I'm Wellesley Kiesel.
And I'm Julia Sanders.
Have a nice night.
Which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
Hello.
Hi, I'm
from Blue Hood Stone Barns. We brought a meal for you, and I'm here to serve it to you.
Okay, great. Come in.
Zucchini carbonara, made from zucchini that was harvested earlier this morning.
Again?
Hey, Dan Barber.
You have room for a little bit more?
Come on in.
Brochettes with sausage. So when we made that zucchini carbonara, you know, they're the end pieces of the zucchini, and they're the cores that we cut away, not to mention zucchini flour. Usually those get thrown out. We use them to create an entire second dish. Does that, oh.
Again?
I'm here to bring you your third course. It's the vines from your zucchini.
We'll have a little zucchini stem pasta, a different experience of zucchini. When we start to think differently about our food, we can get a lot more out of it.
This is delicious.
What do you think we can make out of this? 40% of food in America is never eaten. Cook it, store it, share it. Visit SaveTheFood.com.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Laughing too hard at one of your colleagues' jokes at the office party? He's not even funny. Warning sign, those drinks are probably going to your head. Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Oh, hello. Welcome to the Grady post-show critique. I'm not the SPM, but I'm here. Will's on his way. We're running around a little ragged tonight, but welcome. You guys, I'll go ahead and say my spiel. I'm Sam. I directed tonight. You guys were amazing. You guys pushed the boundaries. You did things that I've seen Newsource classes not do in all of their time here at Newsource, so I'm so proud of you guys. I think for what you guys tried to do, the show ended up being great. Taylor, great communication skills in the control room. Like, everything went off really well, I think.
Yep. Sam kind of pretty much said it. I don't have too many notes for you guys today. I don't know what happened with prompter in the middle of A block. I don't know if y'all noticed down there at the bottom, things got mixed up a little bit, but we recovered very quickly, and I thought very calmly. We just kind of moved it around and kept going, and we didn't really miss anything, so that was good. Great communication during that. Sam did really good during that part, so. No, you did the right thing. You did the right thing. You read off just what we pulled up for you. So that was good. Overall, pretty solid show, I thought, today. You did good at the end whenever we were crunched for time and we were trying to sort things out, and you didn't really freak out. You're just kind of like, yeah, we're just going to do this. So that's the calm vibes we like around here. Other than that, I thought it was a pretty solid show today. Everybody did good. All the packages were in by 4:45, so that's also good. Other than that, yeah. The only one other thing I was going to say is there was a point where we had like 2 VOs and a thought we were trying to bring in, and it was all in one long clip in the future. Yeah, you want to explain it? I think you know a little more.
So you guys need to know oh, hello. Where's Waldo, right? So a difference between a package and a VOSOT, if it's written down on the rundown as a VOSOT, I expect that to be an anchor or a reporter wherever they are, like Jada today had down. She was written down as a VOSOT. It was actually a package. So when she dropped her whole package to me, I was confused because that's not how you drop VOSOTs, and we were running around trying to figure that out. So if you guys just, from now on, will write down the correct thing of whether it's a VOSOT or a package, that will just make the director's life a lot easier when we sit down to direct the show and make you guys look as best as we can.
That's it, basically. Good job, guys.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank both of you for your calmness, because today we were really challenged, I think, in a way that we have never been challenged. This is our 5th show, But we came today and we realized that we were missing not one, not two, but 3 people. And all of you stepped in, and we kind of joked in the morning to say, this challenge is an opportunity for us to innovate. And you delivered. You tried your best. It was very difficult, and I really commend Taylor for her leadership, her calmness, and Paige is not here, but she helped a lot, and Wangeshi helped a lot to step in. But Taylor, you did an extraordinary job. This is her first time producing, and I can't believe that this is the first time you've produced, and you had to face the biggest challenge that we faced so far, and you faced it with calmness. You learned a lot. You were trying to grapple with how to produce, what it means to be a producer, and you pulled it off with flying colors, and I really, really am impressed, and thank you a lot. But I'll give the floor now to you so that you can tell us how it felt from your vantage point and the things you want to share with us of this crazy day.
So yeah, today I definitely learned that producing is a lot different side of things than when you're out here. And like Professor V just said, we did come in with already at a disadvantage, missing 3 people, 2 of which were TV MMJs, which is the biggest role that we have, is to fill the airtime. But I just want to thank you guys because everybody stepped in. Nobody was like, well, I'm not doing that because that's not my job. Everyone stepped in and did what they had to make sure the air was filled. We ended up actually going over, which is the craziest thing to me because we were so concerned all day about being so
we were short. 6 minutes late.
Yeah, we were 6 minutes. That was what the rundown was.
6 minutes light. Sorry.
6 minutes light. Yeah. And then when we got to the D block, we realized the D block was our 5:30 mark, and we didn't have time for anything in the E block. But that's just the craziness of what we do here. So, but yeah, I really want to give a special thank you to Wangeshi and Paige because without them helping me get in all the stuff that we put in to fill the air, it literally would not have happened. So thank you very much. Yeah, and I know everybody kind of faced a challenge today with their stories falling through. At some point or another, Isaiah, you started off with a story that wasn't yours, so that puts you at a disadvantage starting the day off with something you haven't done any research on. And then Julia, all of your stuff fell through. Jada, your story fell through, and you guys still managed to pull off what you needed to fill the air. I think that we do need to note one of the things that really killed us today was learning the lesson you cannot use footage if it was recorded in the stadium during game time, because at that point it's an event that you had to pay to get into. It's not just public area. So had we known that ahead of time, that would have prevented us from having some of the issues that we had. So I definitely think we need to remember that going forward. But yeah, overall, everyone did really great. Ashlyn, thank you for all the work you put into the readers. Literally all of you were amazing, so thank you. Do you want to go to? Yeah.
I'm basically going to say the same thing. Y'all killed it today. Like, I had a great digital team. Like, y'all are rock stars because not only did you do stuff for digital, you also did stuff for TV. Like, y'all really step up the plate. So I had to make notes for each individual one of you because you deserve. Peyton, you were super creative with your story. I really appreciate that because instead of just being like, it's fall, but it's hot, you like put such a creative twist to it. So that was amazing. Bailey is not here right now, but like she was literally handed a news story this morning and like she did a live with it and then she just sent me a video for digital, so she is a rock star. Marissa, you not only convinced me like how great your story is for digital, you also like worked with me to like compromise to be like, here's the personal touch with it, and you're just amazing with the data like maps and everything that you were doing. I know Dr. Bright is like in love with you because you're like a queen with these data maps. Katie, can't wait to see you next Wednesday or this Wednesday. And then for myself, I learned that I need to prepare for Grady Daily the night before, even if like it doesn't end up happening. And like for future digital producers, even if the story doesn't end up being what you write about, it makes you more familiar with like how to write for it. Because even though it's only like a minute to 2 minutes, it's surprisingly hard because you have like this news tone, but it needs to be like, you have these news stories, but it needs to be in a conversational tone. As well as I just need to work on like putting and churning things out more throughout the day. Because like right now our Facebook just has the Grady Daily, and soon it will have more after we get things edited, as well as Marissa's web article, and then Peyton's video and Bailey's video. So I'm really excited about that. We're just waiting on editing. But just for me to work on like, how can I still find something to put on, even though we're all scrambling, something to put on social.
Well, you had to help us a lot with all the moving pieces and missing pieces.
Yeah.
So it was, everybody stepped in, and I really appreciate it. It was a challenge for each and every one of you in different ways. And all of you just did an amazing job. I really thank all of you. I really love the fact that you're such a great team. You care about each other. You help each other unconditionally. I can see that, and that helped us a lot because it was not only were we 3 people down, but then we realized that 3 minutes of sports, which Julia had worked so hard. She had worked 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Monday. Today also she went to get interviews, and it turned out that we could barely use anything. She had worked so hard. She had a great story about some students not finding seating. They were kicked out of their seats. She worked so hard. I don't know how many people she called and how many people, just were extremely mean to her and non-supportive, and she just kept going. And finally she got a confirmation, and then it turned out we could not use the interview that she had shot with the girl who had been kicked out of her seat, because it was taken in the stadium, not on game day, but on a day where she and others were told that they were in a restricted area and they had to leave. So we ended up not just using one element of all those 3 days of work. She had no way of knowing that we couldn't use things that were shot during game day. But it turned out we couldn't use anything from Friday and from today, because a little bit late she remembered that she was told that she was in a restricted area, and she said, you know what, I just remembered this. Does that matter that today, when there was no game day and we can use footage which is shot in the stadium, is it okay to still use it, because I just now remembered that I was told to leave. There was a recording which sounded for me to leave. Hi, Bailey. Hi. And so we have to learn a lot, and I just want to spend a little bit more time on what happened with Julia, because this is an example of someone who worked so hard. Instead of having fun and drinks, on Friday and Saturday, she worked. Nobody asked her to do it. She worked so that she could make her sports the best that it can be, and ended up hardly being able to use anything. So from now on, we have to be very careful about sports events because they're so expensive, and there's always some kind of legal issue, some kind of proprietary issue that we have to be very careful about. We have to check things, whether we have a right to film. And I've always told you, even if you go to a mall, go to a school, any public place that you go, check ahead of time and get permission. And because this is what happens. You lose so much hard work, and it's so hard on you guys as a team, because we all had to scramble, trying to see what could be salvaged. And so this is, again, let's all of us try to remember, anytime we go to a public space, we need to find out if we have the right to be there, because all the hard work you do is for nothing. And that's a shame, and that really burdens the rest of us here. And this really tested us, and it burdened us in a way that was was very difficult. It was very difficult. And so we, let's remember this, that we never go from now on to a public space to film without checking out and making double, triple sure that we can be there, because it's just too difficult. It's not fair to the team. It's not fair to you and to everything, all the effort you have put into this. So we learned a lot of interesting, hard lessons today. I kind of joked in the morning, that this was an opportunity to innovate. And boy, did I jinx us, because there just kept being more and more opportunities to innovate. And at one point I was just like wondering what else could go wrong. I mean, it just, what else? I think nothing can scare us after this day. I mean, everything that could go wrong sort of, went wrong. But I really thank you guys for the grit and determination and good, just going with it and then putting your heart into, no matter what happened, no matter what we had to face, everybody tried their best to save us, to put out a good product. Even the prompter, failed us in the beginning. So everything that could have gone wrong, and Ashlyn was just like, you wouldn't have, nobody would know, the viewers wouldn't know that the script that you worked so hard, the opening of the show, in which we justified why we were doing climate change, because the whole world was in New York, and we couldn't start with that because it disappeared in the prompter, but still, your performance was just on the spot, very solid, very solid.
Couldn't hear a single thing you were saying.
I couldn't hear a thing.
Yes.
And that's why I repeat my question, because I was like,
yes.
Was my mic working? Because then you were
yeah.
I was like, oh gosh, this is
Let
messy.
me finish with my compliments. Yes, very solid, very, very nice, and just keep up this great, great work. Yes, you use the change in tone, looking down. You were right on the mark with the emotions, that you showed and on camera. So, thank you. It was a very solid performance. Coming to Bailey, huge thank you for the innovation. And again, I commend the two of you for coming up with our first ever Q&A, because Bailey impressed me when I read your ideas. I was so proud of you. First, because I care about climate change, but secondly, because you had so many links, you had so many things you had thought about, and that's a difficult issue. And you were thinking about the local angle, and you were showing an understanding and appreciation of something so important, especially to where we live here, because we have a lot of agriculture, and climate change will affect people. Young people, Generation Z, you guys are, really on top of it. And so I just thought that you were going to pull off this great, you were so prepared, and we had to change your story. And we sent you out, not only did we change your story, we sent you out live. Yes, and you found your story by opening an invitation when we were like, what are we going to do? And she opens up an invitation and starts laughing during our show in the morning. And I'm like, are they laughing at me? What's am I? And it turns out she opens an invitation, and that's her story. The invitation is that there's a new roundabout, and immediately no good deed goes unpunished. I ask her to be live with it, And so, and I say, and by the way, you don't mind not being digital today, right? You're going to be a TV journalist, because we were down 2 TV journalists and 1 digit. And so she says, fine, and I'm sure she told herself no good deed goes unpunished. And the two of you, I don't know what happened. We need to find out why there was this delay. You were not being cued. Guys, can you explain what happened so that we avoid this beautiful innovation from, we want to perfect this.
Yeah, my IFB went out to begin with, so I didn't know what was going on in the control room. And I also didn't know when to start reading the prompter and when I was going to be cued because then the prompter stalled. So I was like, what's going on? So I started looking down at my notes and I'm like, I guess I'm going on even though I'm not on camera right now. So I just started asking questions and then I thought my mic wasn't on because I couldn't hear myself through the IFB. So I asked my question again and then Bailey started talking.
Well, Neil is here with us. Neil, does that kind of ring a bell to you why this happened, why her IFB stopped working?
First time this happened since I've been here, so
Can we give you a mic if you want to share something with us or give us some advice as to what happened, or you need to think about it and
failure of the equipment, I'll have to check in the morning.
We
Okay.
had that issue last week, me, Isaiah, and Paige. It just wasn't working. And then my issue was at the beginning I had mixed minus, so I had to take my earbud out.
That's what we were wondering why you took it out. So you had mixed minus, yeah.
So that was not fun. And then
And taking notes, yeah.
right, and then I just stopped hearing everything by the end of it. So when we were double boxed, I would assume we were double boxed, we were supposed to be, I couldn't hear Ashlyn at all. So it was like I was hearing too much and then I was hearing absolutely nothing. So that was, yeah. So I was just like looking at the Zach that was there to do my live shot. God bless him and Paige. They were wonderful. Can't say enough great things about them. But yeah, technology wasn't my friend.
Watching the TV screen became the best thing for me, just to see when Bailey stopped talking so I could start talking. So that worked out if, an IFB goes out.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah. So I was just hoping my mic was working then.
Yeah. But, your idea was great. This was a new story that you just opened up an invitation. The fact that you came up with those, tips on how to use the roundabout and everything, I'm very impressed, and I don't know how you guys feel, but I think we should do more of this Q&A, just to break up and do something different in the show. I like packages, don't get me wrong. I like donuts and the big, but there's something about this Q&A when you feel comfortable doing it, of course. But this was.
Yeah, even though it didn't go as well as we had hoped, I still really liked it. I thought it was a cool format.
I think so too.
And I'd like to try it again.
Good. You're not scared.
I'm a little bit scared, but I'll push through.
That helps to mobilize you. Yeah, good. I just, and is there anything you want to share about this experience from other people so that when they try it, I hope the other people are not scared? But what would you, do you have some wisdom to share with them?
So I ran into Sam walking back in, and he said I was on the wrong channel, which is why I was getting mixed minus. So that may have been the issue there.
Mm-hmm.
And then not sure what it was with Unity just cutting out altogether. Okay, well, yeah, just wasn't getting anything, but Zach was there and he was able to cue me in, so that was fine. I would say the papers were very cumbersome, so someone trying to do that, I don't know, it's kind of impossible to have like 5 minutes worth of stuff memorized, but like, maybe, yeah, phone would probably be better, for sure, that's a good idea.
Also, don't forget that when you're covered with video, you can just read.
Yeah, that's what I did, I think. I don't know.
Because we covered you with your video.
Okay.
Yeah.
It actually, yeah.
Yeah. So
I was
that's
hoping I was covered with video, but
You were. It actually, that timing on that worked out really well.
Yeah, but you need to have everything on one page. That's what I always used to do for myself when I was out in the field. I like to have the paper because if you have to change anything, you can quickly scribble. Sometimes if I had an iPad, it would lock, the screen could lock, or it could go accidentally, you could touch it and could go to another script. It's happened to me on live air. That's why I kept sticking to the paper. Yeah. Because, but everything has to be on one, try to fit everything on one page.
There's so much.
Yeah, because you had so many facts, and maybe like shrink it down and don't do everything live. Try to record like maybe the tips on how to use a roundabout, the graphic.
Yeah.
You could have maybe taped that. try to help yourself with as many elements on tape and as few as possible that you have to read out, because you guys had a lot to read.
And we also
Or do some talking points, you
Yeah.
know, where just remind you don't need to write everything, but your talking point, and you know, here I have to say this, then I have to say that. That helps a lot if you're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
But it has to be on one page. You know, I saw you kind of, oh my goodness, where was this and where was that? I totally relate to it.
Yeah. And then another thing is we weren't
Yeah.
getting super clear instructions of where we were. It was like we thought we were at the very beginning of A block, and then we were all of a sudden at like A17, and I'm like getting counted off, and I don't know what's going on. So just another thing. I don't know if that's like, I don't know whose end that's on, but
The producer
to keep in
needs to
mind.
communicate, to be very clear with the anchor and the reporters. Content producer is the one who also helps with the reporters. And you did a great job helping and setting up live shots page and doing whatnot. I mean, all of you were just incredible, and I really, really thank you. But, you know, that's what we have to have in mind and maybe practice a little bit. You have to kind of always have in the back of your mind the person who is fronting your show or the reporter, that they need to know, to have a very good idea of when they're going to be on air.
Right.
Because it's really scary out there and you don't know what's happening, and boy have I been in these situations. So I know how scary it is to just not know what to do next. So that's something, I mean, you have so many things to think about. That's one more thing, just if you want to become a producer. I don't know after today if you ever want to produce again, but if you want to produce, that's something that will really help you. Because if the anchor is well informed, no matter what happens, the anchor will ad-lib for you. They will help you, but they need to know where they are, you know, and what they need to do. And you just kind of have to tell them where they are, what they need to do. They will do it for you. But they can't do anything unless they know. And it's really scary when things fall through and what am I doing next? So that's something to keep in mind. It's very difficult to be, any of the jobs that we do are very difficult in different ways and challenges. But the producers, live air producers, are even more challenging at times because you have so many, you have to time your show, you have to talk to the anchors, you have to, you know, do so many things. But I'm very impressed. I keep repeating myself, but with all of you. And I have other notes to, I mean, Isaiah, thank you. He came with one story and then we changed his story, and we had our newsmaker interview the mayor. He got the mayor to talk to him. I don't know what you did, but he got the mayor. He made our top story. Just a reminder again, I cannot remember everything, so when your story is ready, like Isaiah thought that just the fact that his story was in Cannes, I knew that it was ready and I didn't. So if you could, as soon as your story is ready, just come over to me and tell me it's ready, let's look at it, and I'll make time to look at it. Because I looked at it in the last moment and there were things that we could have done differently, but the story was correct. I found no, it just, we could have, stylistically it could have been better, especially with our master of the first sentence person. We could have, I would have pushed him for a better first sentence. He knows that. But again, it was truly impressive, Isaiah, what you pulled off. I think this is this our first newsmaker interview, like last moment, that we've pulled off like this on day off?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. it
Yeah,
is,
so we made history with that as well. Very well done, very well done. And, but just again, a reminder that even when I go over your script and ask you to make changes, come back to me and let's look at it again, because the changes might need to change. So, and I don't want to make you redo you redo a sentence or something, just not to waste time and not to add stress to our day. So it's very important for me to just take a look at your scripts. As soon as you have them ready, just come over to me, and if I ask you to make some changes, just show me the changes so, you know, things run smoother and you don't have to redo things. Peyton, again, I love that. I don't know how you came up with that stress ball as the earth and the sun and revolving and new seasons, but it worked, and I thank you for always finding some way to do something really neat. I think the viewers, those who know you, will always now expect it of you, because every package you do has something as a little surprise. Oh.
And that's our show.
Yeah.